I fell in love at first sight with Lin Xuanan, my elder brother's close friend. I originally thought that he would reject me because of the 10-year age gap between us. However, on my 22nd birthday, he claimed me without reservation. I was with him for 5 years. When I carefully brought up the idea of whether we should make our relationship public, he smiled and took me to a sanatorium. In the luxurious single room lived his beautiful and vulnerable first love, Songji, Jiu. I can have fun with you, it doesn't matter how long it lasts, but my wife can only be her. In my previous life, I couldn't believe that our 5-year relationship was like a mirage. I made a big scene and refused to break up, making our relationship known to everyone. When his first love heard about it, she committed suicide due to depression. Lin Xuanan hated me to the core. After I was kidnapped, he cut off the distress call I made to my family. He watched indifferently as I was killed after the ransom was not paid, and I died a tragic death in the mountains where no one cared. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day he took me to the sanatorium. This time, I smiled and blessed them, and booked a plane ticket to go abroad. 1. Her name is Songji, the love of my life hidden deep in my heart. I stared blankly at the pale and broken girl in the room. With Lin Xuanan's tender voice that seemed out of place ringing in my ears, I'm really sorry, Jiu. It's my fault for not making things clear to you. You will always be a special existence in my heart, but I can't give you a proper status. She is the only woman who will be my wife in the future. These heartless and despicable words struck my heart heavily. In my previous life, he said the same thing. I was on the verge of a breakdown and couldn't believe that for the man I loved. I was just a plaything to relieve his loneliness during these 5 years. I hysterically questioned him why he treated me like this. I refused his proposal to break up and made our relationship known to all. Songji was so frightened that she had a panic attack and curled up in his arms, shivering. I was like a crazy shrew, cursing Lin Xuanan fiercely. He soothed Songji, who was like a little rabbit, and patiently explained to her, "She's just a delusional younger sister, Gigi. Don't pay attention to her." The onlookers pointed at me, but I was completely unaware and continued to vent my anger wildly. This time, I didn't break down, nor did I overreact. I just lowered my head and smiled. At the moment I lowered my head, a tear rolled down my face. Lin Xuanan saw my tear, and his eyes became guarded. She became like this because of me. Jiang Ziyu, I hope you won't stimulate her. Our relationship must never be known to her. Seeing that I still didn't say anything, he was convinced that I would make a scene. His tone gradually became harsh. If your elder brother knew that you gave up the opportunity to go abroad for me when you were 22, what do you think he would do, Jiu? I hope we can all be more decent. I suddenly raised my head and interrupted him. I understand, Lin Xuanan. I wish you all the best. Let's break up. I looked straight into that face that I was so deeply addicted to. I watched as the smile on his lips froze. He was stunned. He opened his mouth, trying to find a trace of emotional breakdown on my face. Unfortunately, I was extremely calm. In the end, he swallowed back those words and shifted his gaze to Songji. It's good that you can see things clearly. I didn't want to stay there any longer. Just as I was about to turn around and leave, Songji saw us. Xuanan, you came to see me. Some light returned to Songji's dull eyes, and she walked over from the window. Lin Xuanan quickly stepped forward to greet her and carefully tucked the stray hair on her forehead behind her ear. Songji looked at me curiously, and the hostility in her eyes was impossible to ignore. Who is this? I spoke up before Lin Xuanan could. I'm the younger sister of his friend. Brother Xuanan said he wanted to bring me to see the woman he loves the most. In an instant, Lin Xuanan's face darkened a bit, and his gaze towards me became much darker. Songji took his arm and extended her hand as if declaring her sovereignty. Hello. I didn't shake her hand. I just took a few steps back and smiled gently. I won't disturb you today. I'll be leaving now. I turned around and left. Behind me, I heard Songji's delighted voice. Nan, the doctor said I can be discharged from the hospital next week. After all these years, thank you for waiting for me. 2. The sanatorium was in the far suburbs, and I had to walk to the highway to hail a taxi. In my previous life, I refused to let go, which led to the death of Songji and my own death as well. This time, I just wanted to escape as quickly as possible. I took out my phone and booked a plane ticket to go abroad next Monday. After my father passed away, my elder brother took over the family company in the country. My mother was in poor health and was receiving treatment there. My elder brother always hoped that I could go and keep her company, because of my relationship with Lin Xuanan. I was determined to stay in the country. The year before last, my mother had a major operation and almost didn't survive. Even though I felt extremely guilty, I still didn't consider leaving Lin Xuanan. It's time for me to fulfill my filial duties properly. If it weren't for the fact that someone couldn't leave the company in the country, my elder brother would probably have already put immigration on the agenda. I can't let my family worry about me anymore. While I was lost in thought, a car stopped in front of me. The car window was rolled down, revealing Lin Xuanan's extremely dark face. Get in the car. Having been with him for 5 years, I knew him too well. This was a sign that he was angry. But Lin Xuanan, what right do you have to be angry? You betrayed my sincere feelings. I'm just you. You didn't see me turn into a hysterical shrew. What on earth are you angry about? I sighed, looked around at the desolate surroundings, and finally got in the car, subconsciously. Lin Xuanan leaned over to fasten my seatbelt for me. He had always been a gentleman, and in countless small details, he made me mistakenly think that he loved me deeply. I blocked his approach and pushed him away a bit. Thank you, I can do it myself. Lin Xuanan was stunned, then he suddenly grabbed my wrist, pressed me firmly against the passenger seat, and leaned over me. He kissed me fiercely. I couldn't break free and bit his lip hard in desperation. He let go in pain and wiped the blood that oozed from his lip. I expressionlessly fastened my seatbelt and turned my head towards the window. Drive. I want to go back to my elder brother's place. Lin Xuanan didn't listen. He took me back to the apartment where we had lived for 5 years. 3. Looking at the small home that I had decorated bit by bit. It would be a lie to say that my heart didn't ache. This relationship had always been in the dark. Facing my refusal to go abroad, my elder brother often had headaches. Sis, who on earth is there in the country? You won't even go to accompany mom. Your brother will earn money for you two to spend. Isn't the laid-back life nice? I also hesitated and asked Lin Xuanan why he refused to make our relationship public. He had such a good relationship with my elder brother. Wouldn't it be great to have an even closer relationship? Every time I asked, he would always rub my hair and casually soothe me. Your elder brother has always cherished you the most. I'm 10 years older than you. If he knew that his precious younger sister was taken away by an old guy like me, wouldn't he fight me to the death? It wasn't until later, when I could no longer bear a relationship that couldn't see the light of day and decided to make it public, that he, seeing that he couldn't coax me anymore, took me to meet Song Ji. That's when I learned that there had always been a first love in his heart. Am I considered a mistress? I don't know. In my previous life, I was indignant and made our relationship public. I told everyone the details of our life together. When Song Ji heard about it, her depression flared up, and she jumped off the tall building of the sanatorium and died on the spot. Lin Xuanan handled her funeral in the capacity of her husband and has hated me ever since. Coincidentally, I was kidnapped by the rival of my elder brother. When I was panicking and made countless distress calls, they were all cut off. Finally, one call was connected, but it was Lin Xuanan's cold voice on the other end. Jiang Ziyu, stop struggling. You refused to break up decently and caused Gigi's death. Then you can go down there and apologize to her. That person hated my elder brother so much that he regarded me as a plaything to vent his anger. I was tortured for 3 whole days. When I was on the verge of death and thrown into the mountains, I still had my last breath left. Watching the shadows of huge wild animals slowly approaching me, I closed my eyes as if I were finally relieved. Song Ji, I'm giving you back your life. The pain of being torn apart alive made me shiver involuntarily. Lin Xuanan noticed it and frowned as he asked me, "Are you cold?" I didn't answer and turned around to go back to the bedroom. Anyway, I would have to come here to pack my things later, so it would save me another trip. Seeing me take out the suitcase, Lin Xuanan strode over and overturned it. Jiang Ziyu, what on earth are you trying to do? What am I trying to do? Didn't you say we should break up? Didn't you take me to see your solemn promise because you were afraid that I would cling to you? Now why is it that I'm the one making trouble? That's not what I meant. There was a hint of evasion in Lin Xuanan's eyes. Then what do you mean? After being your bed partner in the dark for so many years, do you expect me to continue being shameless even after knowing what's in your heart? I looked at him sarcastically and took a step forward. Lin Xuanan, do you really love Song Ji? Why do you love her but can't stand being alone and have lied to me for a whole 5 years? Why are you clearly afraid that she will be affected? But you're unwilling to let go when I decide to move on. Do you really love her? Or do you just enjoy the thrill of being chased? I love Lin Xuanan. I decided to love him the first time I saw him at my coming-of-age ceremony when I was 18. I had never seen someone who smiled so beautifully. After my father passed away, my mother was not around, and my elder brother was busy with work. Lin Xuanan became the first man who stayed in my life after my view of love was fully formed. Even during the Chinese New Year's Eve of those 2 years, when my elder brother was too busy with social engagements to come home, it was he who rushed over to accompany me. After we counted down together, he took out the cake from my favorite dessert shop as if by magic. With the fireworks all over the city, he said to me, "Happy New Year, little one." I enjoyed his unconditional company and preference, but perhaps, at that time, although he was looking at me, he was thinking of Song Ji in his heart. After saying goodbye to me with a smile, he would rush to the person he loved the most. I had his brief countdown time, while Song Ji had his company for the whole night. Unfortunately, I didn't know that at that time, for Lin Xuanan couldn't answer my questions. Perhaps he himself didn't know when he started to go astray. I quickly packed my luggage, but at that moment, there was a knock on the door. "Nan, this is a surprise." Song Ji carried her luggage and jumped into his arms with a smile. Lin Xuanan was obviously stunned too. "Aren't you supposed to be discharged from the hospital next week?" Song Ji hugged him tightly and greedily inhaled his scent. "Actually, I could be discharged today. I specially asked the doctor not to tell you. I wanted to give you a surprise." "Then you should have told me so that I could go and pick you up." I stood there calmly, quietly watching the scene of the lovers reuniting. Song Ji emerged from his arms and coquettishly directed him to carry the luggage into the room. The moment she met my eyes, her smile froze instantly, and her whole body started to tremble. Nan, isn't she your younger sister? Why is she here so late?" Lin Xuanan was flustered for a moment and quickly stepped forward to hug her. "Gigi, listen to me explain." Song Ji was very emotional and questioned him with tears in her eyes. "Do you not want me anymore? Do you dislike me now? You said you would wait for me. Were all those words false?" I smiled and soothed her. "Sister Song Ji, don't misunderstand. My elder brother stayed at Brother Xuanan's place for a few days some time ago and left some things here. I'm here to pick them up for him. If you don't believe me, look, the furnishings in this room are clearly those of a single man's residence. My elder brother did come here often, in order not to let him find out. I decorated the place according to Lin Xuanan's preferences. Except for a few of my clothes in the wardrobe, there were no other traces of my existence in other places. It's quite ironic. I had been in this home for a whole 5 years, but the things that could prove my existence couldn't even fill half a suitcase. It seemed as if I had been there, yet it also seemed as if I had never existed." Song Ji calmed down, half believing, after I said goodbye and was about to leave. Song Ji grabbed me and wouldn't let me go. "Sister Jiu, I was out of line just now. Can you stay and not leave?" This was a bit absurd. Seeing that I was not happy about it, she quickly explained, "I've been living in the sanatorium for a whole 10 years. Besides Nan, I don't have any friends. I've seen you twice today, and I feel so close to you. Can you please stay and keep me company?" Just as I was about to refuse, I looked up and saw Lin Xuanan's almost pleading gaze. Anyway, I was going abroad in 5 days. I also wanted to see if Lin Xuanan really loved Song Ji that much. 5. Lin Xuanan took Song Ji into the master bedroom where we usually lived. I chose the mattress, and I personally laid the bed sheets. Even the aromatherapy by the bedside was carefully selected and bought back by me. When I walked into the adjacent guest bedroom, I saw Song Ji holding the aromatherapy and looking at Lin Xuanan moved. "Nan, you still remember that this is my favorite scent." No wonder Lin Xuanan only used this kind of aromatherapy. No wonder he lit the aromatherapy every night when we were passionately entangled. "Lin Xuanan, when you held my body, whose face did you imagine?" I felt sorry for my 5 years with him. After taking a shower, Song Ji came to my room. She was like a gentle elder sister, telling me about her past with Lin Xuanan. It was a fairy tale of childhood sweethearts. Unfortunately, the princess in the story's family declined, and she became the target of everyone's bullying. After the prince returned from studying abroad, he found that the princess he held dear in his heart had been tortured and driven to a mental breakdown by his former archenemy. The prince punished those bad guys and protected the princess well. This protection lasted for 10 years until the princess completely got rid of the previous shadows and decided to start a happy new life with the prince. Song Ji asked me if the princess was very brave. Fairy tales have always been dark. After the prince married the princess, he made the beautiful princess gradually turn into a resentful woman wasted by daily necessities. Songji's prince wasn't that infatuated either. It took him 4 years to win the heart of another girl. And then another 5 years to give that girl a taste of ordinary life. His guilt towards Songji only lasted for a mere year, but I didn't say anything. I smiled and said yes. I smiled and wished them a good life in the future. Songji didn't respond. Instead, she stared into my eyes meaningfully. Maybe there will be some insignificant passers-by around the prince, but the princess is the only one who can accompany him through the long years of life. Jiyu, don't you think so? It turned out that Songji wasn't stupid. At night, I couldn't fall asleep. I tiptoed to the balcony to enjoy the moon. In the past, this place was Lin Xuanan's exclusive spot. He had poor sleep quality. Whenever I woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't find him, he would definitely be on the balcony, with a cigarette in one hand and a glass of wine in the other. There was an air of boundless melancholy on his face that I couldn't stand. I would always ask, "What are you worried about?" He would smile good-naturedly, put out the cigarette butt, and then pull me into his arms. There are too many troubles in the adult world. My little one should always be happy. I struggled unconvinced. I'm already 23 years old, so don't exclude me from your world. Don't make me unable to understand your melancholy. He didn't answer anymore. Instead, he rested his chin on the top of my head and seriously admired the moon. So, was he missing his fallen first love at that time? Thinking of this, I began to dislike the moon a bit. Suddenly, there was a commotion coming from the master bedroom. The man's low growl and the woman's sounds of pleasure intertwined and lingered in the master bedroom that I had decorated with my own hands. Most likely, this was the real reason why Songji wanted me to stay. 6. On the 4th day before going abroad, I never expected such a strange scene to occur. After staying up all night, I was about to leave in the morning when Songji called out to me from behind. "Jiyu, you didn't hear any noise last night, did you?" The provocation in her eyes lost the cover it had the previous night. I smiled and shook my head. I sleep like a log. Even thunder couldn't wake me up at night. She bit her lip, looking somewhat unwilling. Then, she insisted on having me stay for breakfast, so the three of us sat at the dining table in an extremely strange atmosphere. "Nan, I want to go to the amusement park. Can you take me?" Lin Xuanan immediately took out his phone to buy tickets. Wrong. It's not 2 tickets, but 3. Lin Xuanan glanced at me guiltily. "Why 3? Aren't we 2 going?" Songji smiled at me. "Jiyu accompanied me and chatted for so long last night. We should thank her. I don't have any other friends, so of course we'll go together." I was getting tired of these meaningless tests. "I'm going to my elder brother's place for dinner today. You two can go by yourselves." Songji's smile faded, and a layer of mist welled up in her eyes. "Nan, does Jiyu not like me? I've lived in the sanatorium for 10 years. Besides you, there's no one else in my life. I really want to be friends with Jiyu. Did she dislike me after hearing about my experiences last night?" Lin Xuanan's expression, which originally had a trace of guilt, suddenly turned into an order for me. "Jiang Jiyu, come with us." I suddenly stood up and looked at him sarcastically. "Brother Xuanan, I call you brother because of your relationship with my elder brother. Do you really think of yourself as my brother? Even my own elder brother wouldn't force me to do things I don't want to do. What right do you have to force me? You asked me to stay last night, and I did. I also listened to the touching love story between you and Sister Songji. You two haven't had a normal couple's life for 10 years. I don't want to be a third wheel. You two can enjoy your meal. I'm leaving now." This time, no matter how Songji acted, I didn't stay. 7. I put my things back in my small apartment and drove to my elder brother's company. He was very surprised to see me. "The busy person who doesn't know what she's been up to all day. How come you have the time to inspect the work?" My nose twitched with a pang of sadness. I had always only had Lin Xuanan in my eyes. As if I had neglected the people who truly cared about me. My elder brother was clearly only in his 30s, but in order to preserve the hard work left by our father, he had worked so hard that the hair at his temples had turned white. In my previous life, after learning that I was killed, my elder brother's hair turned white overnight. He blamed himself for not noticing my disappearance and wondered why I didn't call him for help. He didn't know that Lin Xuanan had cleared all those call records. He started to reflect on why he wasn't worthy of my trust and almost drove himself crazy. Looking at my elder brother's doting eyes, I held back my tears. "Don't I miss you? Your birthday is tomorrow, and I'm going to move back and stay with you for a few days." My elder brother smiled broadly. "I'm really flattered, brother. I booked a plane ticket to go abroad next Monday. From now on, I'll stay there and accompany Mom well. You can focus on your work in the country with peace of mind. When you're tired, come and find us." My elder brother smiled with satisfaction. We went out for dinner together in the evening, and unexpectedly, we met Lin Xuanan in the restaurant. What bad luck, I thought to myself. My elder brother warmly greeted them to come over. Lin Xuanan remained silent, but Song Ji looked apologetic. "Sorry, Jiyu. I made you unhappy this morning. Nan really didn't mean to force you. He just cared about my feelings. Please don't blame me." My elder brother sensed something was wrong and stared at Lin Xuanan with a disapproving look. "What did you do to my sister?" I quickly interrupted to explain. I was thinking of moving back. Last time you complained that you left some things at Brother Xuanan's place when you stayed there. I thought I'd bring them back for you by the way." Just then, Sister Songji was discharged from the hospital. She said she liked me and asked me to stay at home for one night. The next day, she asked me to go to the amusement park with them. I was too tired and didn't want to go, so I came straight to you. Fortunately, my elder brother was not picky about such things in life, and I was also careful. I really took away the things he had left at Lin Xuanan's place, otherwise, it would have been really hard to explain. My elder brother let out a sigh of relief and playfully punched Lin Xuanan. "You kid. The woman you've been longing for has finally come back. Stop taking care of my sister for me. Just live a good life." "Okay." Lin Xuanan glanced at me without showing any emotion and finally nodded silently. Song Ji, on the other hand, smiled brightly. It turned out that even my elder brother knew the person in his heart. No wonder he had hidden me so tightly. The dishes were served, and they forgot to tell the kitchen not to put rosemary in my portion. I was just about to exchange my plate with my elder brother's when a pair of big hands took my plate. It was Lin Xuanan. He naturally exchanged his plate with mine and even carefully cut the steak on my plate. "You forgot to say that you're allergic to this." His actions were so natural that the whole table fell silent. Lin Xuanan's face suddenly changed slightly, and he looked at Song Ji beside him. Song Ji was shaking again. I exchanged the plate with my elder brothers again. "When you asked him to send things to me back then, you talked about my allergies so many times. Brother Xuanan, you just take care of Sister Song Ji. You don't need to take care of me anymore just because of my elder brother's face." I was getting annoyed by Song Ji's shaking. 8. On the third day before going abroad, I helped my elder brother prepare a grand birthday dinner party. I didn't invite Lin Xuanan, but my elder brother did. He stood in front of the mirror adjusting his tie. "You even forgot to invite your brother Xuanan, you little heartless one." I smiled bitterly and didn't refute. I didn't want the memories between my elder brother and me to be disturbed by a bad person. When the party started, I held my elder brother's arm and entered the banquet hall. Almost all the people who came were our family friends or my elder brother's business partners. Lin Xuanan also came with Song Ji. She was wearing a white evening dress, with her long hair tied up. She looked gentle and demure. She was holding a glass of juice in her hand and walked towards us with Lin Xuanan on her arm. I was wearing a long red evening dress. My hair, which was usually tied up, was lazily draped over my shoulders. Holding a glass of champagne, I slightly nodded towards them. Lin Xuanan frowned. He had always disliked my overly bright and eye-catching outfits. He had banned all the colors I liked. I didn't understand why he always liked to see me dressed simply. I only knew that in order to make him happy, I forced myself to become someone I wasn't. It wasn't until I met Song Ji that I realized that I was not only a plaything to relieve boredom, I was also a substitute. "Happy birthday." He clinked glasses with my elder brother in tacit understanding. At this moment, a girl came over with a playful smile. "Mr. Lin, is this the first love you've been thinking about all this time? You've finally decided to bring her out." "Oh. So everyone in the world knew about it. In my previous life, how could I have been so stupid?" Song Ji looked a bit timid and shrank behind Lin Xuanan. This girl was the daughter of Mr. Chen, whom Lin Xuanan had been trying to win over recently. In my previous life, because of this reason, I became close friends with her. So, this time, Lin Xuanan didn't stand in front of Song Ji. "Have a chat with Miss Chen, Gigi. Your life should be filled with many people." Song Ji gritted her teeth and nodded timidly. Miss Chen pulled her away. As soon as they left, another person rushed over. It was the youngest son of the Gu group. He shyly raised his glass to my elder brother. "Mr. Jiang, I've always heard that you have a sister, but I've never seen her before. She's really stunning this time. I wonder if there's a chance for me to get to know Miss Jiang." "There's no such chance." Lin Xuanan squinted at him and took a sip of champagne indifferently. He answered faster than my elder brother. My elder brother looked at him like he was a crazy person and then smiled and declined the offer. Sorry, my sister is going abroad soon. I don't want to waste Mr. Gu's time. Lin Xuanan's glass was knocked over, and champagne spilled on his suit. He looked a bit flustered but had to suppress his emotions. Going abroad, when, next Monday, Jiyu has decided to go and accompany our mom. Most likely, she won't be in the country anymore in the future. When the company stabilizes a bit more, I'll hand it over to a professional manager and then fly over to join them. Buddy, there won't be anyone to play with you in the country in the future, but don't worry, we'll definitely come to your wedding day. I smiled and echoed my elder brother's words. Yes, we'll definitely find the time to come back and witness your happiness. Lin Xuanan's face turned pale. Just as he was about to say something, he was suddenly interrupted by a shrill female voice. It was Song Ji. 9. We pushed through the crowd of onlookers and saw Song Ji lying on the ground. All the champagne and desserts had been spilled on her, and her white dress was stained horribly. Miss Chen looked at Lin Xuanan awkwardly. It's not me, Mr. Lin. My brother just politely shook hands with her, and then she suddenly went crazy and knocked everything over. Is there something wrong with your first love? I turned my gaze to Song Ji. She started shaking again and kept shouting. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Young Master Chen was a gentle and refined person. Song Ji's behavior made it seem like he had done something wrong. Even the most gentlemanly person would feel embarrassed at this moment. Mr. Lin, if your girlfriend has some problems, don't bring her out and cause trouble for others. Today is Mr. Zhang's birthday party. Making such a scene is like ruining the party. If you can't handle things at home well, it's hard not to doubt your ability at work. Let's put the cooperation on hold for now. After saying that, he pulled his sister away. My elder brother soothed the onlookers. For the first time, I saw boredom towards Song Ji in Lin Xuanan's eyes. Song Ji, however, didn't notice it at all and still hugged herself and shivered. I sighed and stepped forward to extend my hand to her. Get up first, you look really bad like this. Song Ji didn't even look at me. Instead, she looked at Lin Xuanan pitifully. Nan, Lin Xuanan frowned, but in the end, he stepped forward and helped her up. Gigi, you're not really better at all. Let me take you back to the sanatorium. Okay. Song Ji was stunned. I left tactfully. Who wants to care about their affairs anyway? 10. On the second day before going abroad, Lin Xuanan blocked the door of my house early in the morning. He looked haggard, with bloodshot eyes. He probably spent the whole night last night taking care of Song Ji. Why are you going abroad? Why didn't I know about it? He started with a question, his tone full of fatigue. I stared at him mockingly. Lin Xuanan, we don't have any relationship anymore. Whether I go abroad or not has nothing to do with you. You're not at home with your Gigi. Did you come here early in the morning just to ask me this question? Lin Xuanan stepped closer to me one step at a time. Jiang Ziyu, I don't remember ever saying that I wanted to break off our relationship. I almost laughed out tears. Then what? Your only wife has been discharged from the hospital. Do you want me to be your mistress who can never see the light of day? Lin Xuanan, I'm telling you, when I was with you, I was in a relationship with you with the intention of getting married. I won't be a substitute, and I won't be a bed partner who can't be seen in public. You were despicable and selfish and lied to me for 5 years, wasting my youth to satisfy your need for entertainment. Now, do you still have the delusion of having both women? How on earth do you dare? There was an endless look of confusion in Lin Xuanan's eyes. It's not like that. I admit that my initial behavior was indeed despicable. You stood in front of me so vividly that I couldn't help but want to get closer to you. I know I should firmly wait for Song Ji, but I can't resist my feelings for you. How can you be so free and easy? Why can you pull away just like that? Even when it comes to going abroad, you can make the decision so gracefully. Why? Of course, it's because I've already died once. I understood it from the way he looked at Song Ji yesterday. In my previous life, because Song Ji died, he didn't experience how much patience it takes to live with someone who has mental problems. Over the years, Lin Xuanan has long lived a life that others look up to. How could he live a life of carefully taking care of others? It's ridiculous. In just a few days, the white moonlight he was obsessed with in his previous life has become the grain of rice on his clothes in this life. He seems unable to look directly at the sarcasm and ridicule in my eyes. Lin Xuanan avoided my gaze and tried to step forward and grab me. There must still be a way. Jiyu, don't leave, let's think of a way together. Okay, I couldn't stand it anymore and slapped him hard in the face, wanting both. Lin Xuanan, do you even deserve it? I turned around without hesitation and saw my elder brother standing behind me with red eyes. He didn't say anything and didn't ask anything. He stepped forward and patted my shoulder reassuringly. 1 punch, 2 punches, 3 punches. Until Lin Xuanan fell to the ground and couldn't get up again. 11. My elder brother didn't say anything and didn't ask anything. He just said that he had made a bad friend and had hurt me. How could that be? I lost my mind myself. It's not your fault, brother. All of you knew that there was someone in his heart, but I was so stupid that I believed his words. I gritted my teeth and was his backup for 5 years, leaving mom alone to live over there. I'm sorry for you guys. My elder brother had red eyes and waved his hand to stop me from talking. It'll be better in the future. Brother will come to find you guys as soon as possible. Then our family will never come back again. I nodded. Jiang Ziyu, open the door. There was a sudden rapid knock on the door outside. When I opened the door, it was Song Ji. She was barefoot, wearing the clothes from the sanatorium, and looking at me with a distorted face. Jiang Ziyu, you bitch. Did Nan send me back to the sanatorium because of you? My elder brother stepped forward and stood in front of me. I gently pulled his hand. Let me deal with it myself. There are some things that one always has to handle on their own. My elder brother went upstairs, and I brought Song Ji into the house. She refused all my kindness and stubbornly refused to deal with the wounds on her feet, running here from the sanatorium. She really went all out. Why do you say that? Song Ji let out a cold snort. The day at the sanatorium, I knew there was something wrong with you too. Every time Nan came to see me, I couldn't drive him away, but the day you left, he talked to me absent-mindedly. In less than a few minutes, he made an excuse that there was something wrong with the company and left first. He never used to be like that. She stared at me steadily, her face pale but determined. Do you believe a woman's intuition? The way Nan looks at you is different. I know that I've been out of touch with society for 10 years, I can't fit into his circle and I'm not worthy of him, but I became like this because of him. He can't abandon me. In fact, from beginning to end, Song Ji didn't do anything wrong. On the contrary, I was the one who killed her once. She just has an illness and can't control her emotions. In this life, her clumsy demonstrations of power are just struggles at the end of the road. The one who deserves to die has always been Lin Xuanan. Whether you believe it or not, I only knew about your existence when I was at the sanatorium. Before that, I never knew there was a you in the world. I met Lin Xuanan when I was 18 and confessed my love to him and got together with him when I was 22. Later, we had a secret relationship for 5 years, and even my elder brother didn't know about it. I was tired of this kind of secretive life, so I proposed to make our relationship public. When he saw that he couldn't coax me anymore, he brought me in front of you and said that you were the woman he wanted to marry and that he was just having fun with me. After I knew about you, I drew a clear line with him immediately. You can rest assured. I carefully chose my words and tried to tell her the truth with words that wouldn't be too stimulating. Song Ji was stunned. It's impossible, if you hadn't been pestering Nan. How could he have treated me like this? He looks the same as before, but why is there a trace of impatience in his eyes? Why? If it's not because of you, then because of what? Song Ji is not stupid, she's even very perceptive. She'd rather imagine me as an enemy than admit that Lin Xuanan's promise to her only exists in the persona he created. I didn't answer her questions, I just looked at her compassionately. If I hadn't had the experience of my previous life, I probably would have been just as blind. After the gunshot, there are no winners. It seems that either Song Ji or I was destined not to be able to maintain dignity. The way she looked at me gradually returned to calm. She smiled, and the laughter, mixed with the thunder outside, sounded particularly mournful. Lin Xuanan rushed over. Seeing Song Ji in this state, he only thought of apologizing to me. My elder brother left a lot of injuries on him. The way he apologized with a swollen face was so ridiculous. Song Ji wasn't as collapsed as he expected. Instead, she obediently followed him away. Before he left, he turned back and took a look at me. That night, I didn't know that this was the last time we would see each other in this life. 12. On the last day before going abroad, my elder brother cooked breakfast for me himself and then sent me to the airport. On the way, my elder brother received a call from a mutual friend. There was a moment of silence on the other end. Buddy, Lin Xuanan is gone. It turned out that after Song Ji left that night, she clearly told him that she wanted to go home with him. Lin Xuanan was silent for a long time, but he still drove the car to the entrance of the sanatorium. He said, Gigi, don't be willful. I'll pick you up and take you home when you're better, I'll wait for you. It was his usual way of speaking. But his eyes were different. Songji probably felt the same way as I did. When you look at me, who are you thinking of in your heart? She calmly accepted it but asked Lin Xuanan to send her upstairs. Lin Xuanan seems to be crazy. Your sister just said she was going abroad. And he also booked a ticket for the same flight. Songji easily got his phone and saw the flight information. Only then did she realize that Lin Xuanan was no longer the Lin Xuanan from 10 years ago. So, she hugged him and they fell from the 10th floor together. Maybe she thought Lin Xuanan was going to abandon her and go abroad. She was so angry that she decided to die with him. This time, I smiled and blessed them and booked a plane ticket to go abroad. The person on the other end was still sighing, but only my elder brother was worried about my emotions and hung up the phone. I smiled happily at him. Probably, I've avenged what happened in my previous life. I never hoped that Lin Xuanan would have a good ending, if possible. I hope Songji will also have a chance to start over. Next time, don't protect others. The only person you should protect is yourself. Story 2. I was the quintessential troubled teen in those youthful pain novels. The one who smoked, skipped class, and got abortions. The busta school beauty. Just a few days ago, Xue Nanyu, who had kissed me, turned around and asked me to seduce their class's aloof and unapproachable class president, Jiang Sen, because he was the crush of the girl Xue Nanyu liked. In my previous life, I caused Jiang Sen to miss his college entrance exam and ruin his future. This time around, I dyed my hair back to black, put on a long skirt, and obediently sat beside him. Class president, take me with you to Tsinghua University. Later on, Jiang Sen and I were seen together frequently. Xue Nanyu, mad with jealousy, exclaimed, Su Tang, have you become addicted to acting? Jiang Sen wrapped his arm around my waist and said, is he that idiot who scored 3 points on the math test? Tang Tang, stay away from him, don't catch his stupidity. It was when I realized I was just the fallen school beauty from those teenage angst novels, who smoked and skipped classes. I was being kissed by Xue Nanyu in the men's restroom stall. He kissed me fiercely, his hand sneaking into my collar, even ripping off 2 buttons from my school uniform, all because today, Lin Xiaxia had rejected his confession. She confessed that the person she truly liked was their class leader, Jiang Sen. Xue Nanyu, with his roguish charm, had almost dated every pretty girl at school, but this was the first time he was thwarted by a timid, innocent little white rabbit. Frustrated and with nowhere to vent, he pulled me into the men's restroom and kissed me without waiting. In my past life, it was in this cramped and dirty place that I lost my virginity. Later, due to an accidental pregnancy, I died of excessive bleeding during an abortion at a small clinic. Thinking of this, I kneed him hard between his legs. The boy, caught in his desires, yelped in pain, Su Tang, what are you doing? I glared at him, it's dirty. Xue Nanyu glanced around impatiently and said, TSK, what a hassle, let's change the location next time. Xue Nanyu, I meant, you're dirty, I said disgustedly, wiping my lips violently with the back of my hand. Then I kicked open the door of the restroom stall and walked out, not wanting to stay another second with him. Xue Nanyu, incredulous, widened his eyes. Su Tang, what are you pretending for? Weren't you the one who just said my kisses felt great? What, you got addicted to playing the part with Jiang Sen? Forget it. I hurried back to the classroom to rinse my mouth, not bothering to deal with him. It was during evening self-study. When I entered, all my classmates turned to look at me. Feeling uncomfortable, I sat back in my seat and noticed the seat next to me was empty. I asked the person behind me, where's Jiang Sen? The head teacher called him away. What for? Chi Weilong widened his eyes. Have you lost your memory? The monthly test results came out, and Jiang Sen dropped more than 400 places. Of course, he was called in for a talking to. What? Memories of my past life flooded back. On the day of the monthly test, I fainted from low blood sugar and was taken to the infirmary by a teacher. When I groggily woke up, I saw Jiang Sen sitting upright beside me. Why are you here? Shouldn't you be at the exam? I turned in a blank paper. Jiang Sen's voice was calm, as if he was discussing something not very important. He leaned over to tuck me in and asked, do you feel uncomfortable anywhere else? I'm dizzy. I deliberately made it difficult for him. Jiang Sen, I want to eat sugar now. Pear and osmanthus candy from the store in the north of the city. Okay. Without hesitation, he got up to make the purchase. Later, when the monthly test scores were released, he scored 0 in the comprehensive science section, falling from first in the grade to beyond 400th place for the first time. He also received a severe disciplinary action for climbing over the school wall and leaving the campus. A violation of school rules. At that time, I spitefully thought to myself, good, the top student has fallen from grace. Even the teachers who used to like him started to dislike him. Xuan would surely be pleased. And now, director, I'm sorry, it's all my fault, I gasped as I burst into the office, bowing deeply to the head teacher. It was me who told Jiangsun not to go to the exam and me who made him climb the wall to buy things for me. He's a good student who follows the rules. It was me who threatened him, saying if he didn't do as I said, I would have thugs outside the school teach him a lesson. I'm sorry, director, any punishment should go on my record, not his. He's supposed to apply to Tsinghua University, and his record can't have any blemishes. I was already known as a bad student with a terrible reputation in school, so getting involved in more trouble wasn't surprising. The head teacher believed my story without doubt, sent Jiangsun back to the classroom. And then scolded me harshly. He said Jiangsun was a rare super genius, a glory and hope for the school, with limitless potential. He told me, a good-for-nothing, to stay away from him, not to be a stumbling block on his bright future path. I earnestly nodded in agreement, knowing the terrible consequences of not doing so from my past life. As I walked out of the office, Jiangsun's cold voice came from behind. Why did you lie for me? I turned to look at him. It turned out he hadn't left. He had been waiting here for me all along. The summer breeze swept through the hallway, ruffling his hair, his familiar eyes, like a deep, wise autumn night lake, yet oddly tinged with starlight, made me recall my past life. In my previous life, I and Xuan accidentally got pregnant and were found out by the school and our parents. We were just 19, panicked and clueless. The class teacher and our parents pressed me to reveal the father of the child, so I falsely claimed it was Jiangsun. Since Xuan disliked Jiangsun, I disliked him too. I thought it wouldn't hurt to let him take the blame. I comforted myself with this thought. Of course, the class teacher didn't believe my lies, convinced of Jiangsun's character, and vehemently accused me of lying. After all, with my notorious past and questionable morals, I was truly a bad student. But when he actually brought Jiangsun to confront the situation, Jiangsun just quietly looked at me and softly said, Su Tang isn't lying, it's mine. I turned my face away guiltily, but what Jiangsun faced was a torrent of abuse and beating from my parents. The class teacher, ashen-faced and furious, stormed off. Jiangsun was punished twice, and the school transferred the recommendation spot reserved for him to the second-ranked student, and on the day of the college entrance exam, coinciding with my death on the operating table, he, like during that monthly test, submitted a blank paper. I'm so sorry, Jiangsun, I'm really sorry. Emotions surged, my voice choked. I sincerely apologized to him. Jiangsun furrowed his brows and walked over. What did the head teacher say to you? I struggled to hold back my tears. He told me to stay away from you, to stop bothering you. Did you agree? I nodded. I had once dragged Jiangsun into hell, tarnishing his reputation. Missing the college entrance exam seemed like a destroyed future, but now, there's still time as long as I make the boundaries clear with him, steer clear of him, and stop bringing him trouble. Jiangsun's gaze darkened, his fingers loosened then clenched. Su Tang, when did you start listening to the teachers so intently? He asked. I'm doing this for your own good, you'll understand later, I replied without further explanation. Hurrying back to the classroom to pack up my things and move to a seat in the back corner, when Jiangsun returned, he found my desk empty. He pursed his lips and remained silent, focusing on solving problems and reading as usual. Lin Xiaxia, seeing the situation, walked over with her workbook, her voice soft and gentle. Class leader, I'm stuck on this physics question, could you help me? She was about to sit next to him, but as she stepped forward, Jiangsun's hand pressed down on the stool where I used to sit. With a pull of his forearm, the stool was moved far away. Maybe tomorrow. I haven't finished my paper yet, he said. Lin Xiaxia almost sat on nothing, thinking he was in a bad mood because he'd been scolded. She tried to comfort him. Class leader, don't be sad, I know you're capable, you'll definitely top the grade in the next monthly exam again. Just stay away from those underachievers, Lin Xiaxia. Jiangsun interrupted her. You're the discipline monitor, isn't it against the class rules to be talking during self-study? Lin Xiaxia's eyes filled with tears as she timidly said, sorry, I know I was wrong. She then returned to her seat and quietly sobbed with her head down on the desk. I lost focus watching the two of them from behind. Lin Xiaxia was pretty, well-behaved, and had excellent grades. Only such an outstanding girl could match Jiang Sen and lead him on the right path. Unfortunately, this bookworm didn't know how to cherish and appreciate her. Looks like I might have to intervene personally when necessary. Just then, my phone buzzed. A message from Jiang Sen came through. Room is ready, Rose Crystal A508. Make sure to bring the morning after pill. I don't like using that thing. I laughed angrily. No wonder he didn't come to evening study. This idiot must still think I'm playing some kind of game with him. Keep that toothpick of yours for picking your teeth. I typed swiftly and without hesitation. I blacklisted him. Liking someone like him in my past life was a real hit to my intelligence. The next day, I dyed my pink hair back to black. My school skirt was irreversibly shortened, and I had no idea where I threw my jacket. I would have to wait until Monday to buy a new set from the school office. On my way to school, I ran into Chi Wei-long, who lived in the same neighborhood. After looking around for a while, he finally focused on me. Holy shit, Tang Jia, why did you dye your hair black? He exclaimed. I approached him. Does it look strange? Chi Wei-long's cheeks flushed as he scratched the back of his head. Not really, it just looks pure. No, just not used to it. I ignored his comment and swiftly took the school jacket off his body. Let me borrow it for a couple of days. I'll give it back to you after that, she said, and then put on the jacket. Chi Wei-long's face turned even redder. Sister Tang, you look like you're not wearing anything underneath that. Chi Wei-long was tall, and his coat just covered my short skirt. After buttoning up, all that could be seen were my bare, pale legs under the oversized school jacket. I simply took off the jacket and tied it around my waist. How about now? Much better, he replied. Chi Wei-long and I walked to school side by side. He asked, Nan is planning to fight with the guys from the vocational school next door tonight. What time will you go? I'm not going, I responded. The fight was triggered because someone from the vocational school whistled at Lin Xiaxia, and Xue Nan couldn't stand it, so he challenged them to a fight. In my previous life, worried that Xue Nan would be at a disadvantage, I skipped evening self-study to support him, but he ended up leaving to protect Lin Xiaxia and left me there alone. If Jiang Sen hadn't arrived later, I don't know what terrible things might have happened to me. I wouldn't be foolish enough to repeat such a thankless task. Oh, what will you do then? Chi Wei-long asked curiously. Homework, I replied. Ha ha ha, homework, did I hear that right? Su Tang isn't sticking to Nan anymore and is going to be a good student. A mocking laugh suddenly came from behind us. Chi Wei-long and I turned around and saw Xue Nan and his lackey Su Rui stopped behind us on a motorbike. Su Rui continued to mock. Look Nan, Su Tang even dyed her hair black, trying to imitate Lin Xiaxia. Right. Xue Nan had dark circles under his eyes as if he hadn't slept well. He looked at me displeased and said, Where were you last night? Didn't you know I waited for you all night? What I did last night is none of your business. Why should it matter to you that you waited? I was already annoyed from getting up early. I rolled my eyes and walked away. Su Tang, Xue Nan called out my name angrily. Su Rui patted Xue Nan's shoulder. Nan, can't you see? Su Tang is doing it on purpose. She knows you like Lin Xiaxia, so she's trying to get your attention by imitating her. Look, Lin Xiaxia has black hair, so she dyed hers black. Lin Xiaxia is always aloof with you, so she acts the same. Lin Xiaxia likes Jiang Sen, so she purposely gets close to Chi Wei-long. She probably thinks if she mimics Lin Xiaxia, you'll like her. Su Rui shook his head knowingly. Women, you can't be too nice to them. Ignore her for a few days, and she'll come running back, begging to talk to you. Xue Nan's mood seemed to lighten. Such crafty little thoughts, he scoffed. She wants to be like Xiaxia, what a joke. Then he revved the motorbike and sped away. The news that Xue Nan was going to fight with the vocational school quickly spread throughout the class. A girl said to Lin Xiaxia, Xiaxia, be careful, Xue Nan is fighting someone else for you, and some people are going to be really jealous. After saying that, both girls looked at me, but I was focused on my work, muttering, your magnesium took away my zinc, Mg plus ZnSO4 equals MgSO4 plus Cn, the girl scoffed. You see, she pretends to be studying but actually, she's still thinking about confessing her feelings to Xue Nan, Lin Xiaxia said as she glanced in Jiang Sen's direction. Jiang Sen also looked at me, but he quickly turned away, his gaze inscrutable. Biting her lip, Lin Xiaxia raised her voice. Who Xue Nan fights with has nothing to do with me, don't drag me into it. With that, the girl fell silent. I had spent the whole day studying seriously and filled half a notebook with notes. However, there was so much I had missed that it made my head swim, so, after the last class in the afternoon. I slipped away alone to the rooftop to memorize vocabulary, but I ended up falling asleep. When I woke up, it was already dark. When I returned to the classroom for the evening self-study, both Lin Xiaxia and Jiang Xin were gone. I had a bad feeling and quickly asked Qi Weilong, "Where are they?" "Oh, Lin Xiaxia left with brother Nan," he replied. "I meant Jiang Xin." "Jiang Xin, I don't know. When did you start caring so much about him?" But it seems like after brother Nan and Lin Xiaxia left, he disappeared too. Alarmed, I threw aside my English dictionary and ran out. Following my memory, I rushed to a deserted flat house area. By the time I got there, a fight was already in full swing. Standing on the outskirts of the crowd, I anxiously searched for Jiang Xin. Su Rui, noticing me, smirked with a bruised lip. "Look, brother Nan, who's here?" "I told you, how could Su Tang concentrate on studying when you're fighting here?" Xue Nan's gaze fell on me, and he sneered. "Su Tang, stop clinging to me. I don't have time to look after you right now." Before throwing a punch at a guy trying to grab Lin Xiaxia, unexpectedly, the hefty guy, weighing over 200 pounds, didn't budge but instead lifted Xue Nan by the collar. Lin Xiaxia screamed in fright. At that moment, I spotted Jiang Xin struggling with someone nearby, so I ran through the crowd toward him. Just as I reached Xue Nan, he strained his neck and said, "Su Tang, you don't need to." His words were cut off as I brushed past him and wrapped my arms around Jiang Xin from behind. "Jiang Xin, watch out." As a fist was about to hit Jiang Xin, he quickly turned around and shielded me, kicking the attacker. Xue Nan's words were still unspoken, his eyes filled with disbelief. In that moment of distraction, the hefty guy had already thrown him heavily to the ground. Xue Nan screamed in pain. I said, "Jiang Xin, run." Understanding, Jiang Xin grabbed my hand, and we ran towards a distant place. Our pursuers relentlessly chased after us. Jiang Xin and I dashed into an alley and found a hidden corner. The nook was so narrow that we had to press tightly against each other just to fit. I could even accidentally kiss his chin if I moved my head slightly. With Jiang Xin's breath in my ears in this tense yet quiet moment, it felt ticklish and awkward. Gritting my teeth, I said, "Can you breathe a little quieter?" Suddenly, Jiang Xin laughed. "Su Tang, you're pressing against me." I looked down, my chest pressed tightly against him. And my face flushed. I couldn't help but remember my role in this book as the simple-minded D-cup school beauty. "Shut up," I muttered. It was a long while before the footsteps outside faded, and Jiang Xin and I finally walked out of the alley. "Did you get hurt?" Jiang Xin asked. I shook my head, then scolded. "Are you silly? People are fighting and showing off for Lin Xiaxia. Why are you joining in the fuss? Aren't you also here because of Xue Nan and—" I couldn't care less about their issues. I fell asleep on the rooftop while memorizing English vocabulary. "Did you think I came here to help Xue Nan fight?" I reached out and pinched Jiang Xin's chin, looking from side to side. Fortunately, there was only one wound. "Silly, didn't you think about it? What would a good student like you do if you got punished?" Jiang Xin let me fuss over him obediently, his gaze firmly fixed on me. "Su Tang, are you concerned about me?" "Nonsense. You're a good student with a bright future ahead. How could you be the same as us?" Jiang Xin pursed his lips and remained silent, letting me take him to the pharmacy. I bought some antiseptic solution and cotton swabs, carefully applying the medicine to his wound. Worried about hurting him, I leaned close to his face, gently blowing on his wound. As I straightened up, the silent Jiang Xin suddenly called out my name. "Su Tang, you don't like good students. So what if I stop being one? Would that be okay?" Jiang Xin sat on the pharmacy steps, looking up at me seriously. "You dare?" I was surprised he would consider such a thing. "Being a good student is great. You'd be liked by teachers and classmates, you could go to a good university, get a good job, and make a lot of money." "But you think I'm boring," Jiang Xin interrupted, his thick eyelashes drooping. "Even being desk mates with me is unbearable for you." I couldn't explain to Jiang Xin that I had been reborn, nor could I tell him how badly he had been hurt because of me in a past life. I just warned him to study hard and not entertain foolish thoughts, then walked off towards the school without another word, him following behind at a safe distance. As we passed a small park, a pained gasp suddenly came from inside. Turning my head, I saw that it was Xue Nan. He was sitting against a big tree, bruised and bloodied all over, even missing one shoe. Lin Xiaxia was nowhere to be found. Without my interference, the rebellious school bully had been beaten to this sorry state. Seeing me, Xue Nan's eyes lit up. "Su Tang, you came to find me." Then he complained, "Why are you so slow?" I stood still, arms crossed, chin up. looking down at his miserable state. After a long silence, Xuan seemed to realize I wasn't planning to help him. His expression soured. Su Tang, don't go too far, come over now, and I'll let bygones be bygones for the past few days, otherwise, you won't be able to handle the consequences. Handle what? Planning to punish me, planning to dump me, ignore me from now on, or go after Lin Xiaxia or some other girl wholeheartedly. I laughed. Xuan. I couldn't ask for more. Xuan frowned. Su Tang. It's no fun if you push it too far, I shrugged and said to Jiang Sen, see, some people are better off left in the ground, saving him is pointless, let's go. With that, she grabbed Jiang Sen's hand and walked away. Su Tang, the boy behind her punched the ground in a final threat, if you walk away now, don't come crying to me later, begging for my attention. I never looked back. Xuan was hospitalized. Su Rui, who was only slightly injured, returned to school soon after and organized classmates to buy flowers and a fruit basket to visit him together. He saw me sitting indifferently at my desk reading a book. He then brazenly sat on my desk and said with a smirk, Su Tang, want a chance to show off? No thanks, I replied. Su Rui frowned. I haven't even said what it is yet. If it's about Xuan, save your breath, I'm not interested. Su Rui looked incredulous. Su Tang, Nan is hurt and in the hospital. He needs people to care for him. This would be your chance to get close to him. Why would I do that? He's not injured because of me. Oh, are you jealous? Su Rui said, feigning realization. Well, you can't compare to Lin Xiaxia, but you're better at sucking up. Maybe if you keep at it, Nan might be moved. Get lost. I kicked him off the desk. Keep babbling, and I'll sew your mouth shut. Xuan had many brothers, and they all respectfully called me Sister Tang. Many even admired me as the potential real sister-in-law. Only Su Rui, whenever he saw me, would either mock or jeer, as if I had desecrated his family grave. You just don't get it, Su Rui said, clutching his sore butt. He got fed up and tried to find Lin Xiaxia, but after several rounds, he couldn't locate her. The classroom was buzzing with chatter. I took my physics textbook and went looking for a quiet place to read. Unexpectedly, I found Jiang Sen and Lin Xiaxia in an abandoned activity room. I quickly hid myself. I heard Lin Xiaxia speaking softly to Jiang Sen. Jiang Sen, were you hurt yesterday? I was so worried, but I couldn't reach you. I'm fine. Did you come here just to say this? Lin Xiaxia nervously clutched the hem of her skirt, took a deep breath as if gathering courage before speaking. I hate Xuan and Su Tang's crowd. They're violent, mindless, with nothing but bad habits. Hanging out with them, nothing good will come of it. Jiang Sen, we're not like them. We need to stay far away from them too. Lin Xiaxia, Jiang Sen, with one hand in his pocket, his skin almost sickly pale and eyes dark under old-fashioned glasses, looked as still as a pond. If you hate Xuan, just stay away. You don't need to report to me. But if you're trying to convince me to avoid Su Tang, sorry, I have no such plans. With that, he turned to leave. Lin Xiaxia quickly blocked his path, her eyes slightly red and stubborn like a little rabbit. Yes, I admit Su Tang is interesting. While everyone else is buried in their studies, looking all dull and dusty, she stands out beautifully. The school forbids dyeing hair, but she dyes hers a striking pink, and despite the dress code, she shortens her skirt. She wears makeup, smokes, skips classes, fights, swears. Jiang Sen has always been the center of discussion among the boys at school, Lin Xiaxia said earnestly. But Jiang Sen, you're not like her. She takes pleasure in tricking people, and seeing you being played makes her happiest. Last time it was your grades that slipped, and this time it's getting involved in fights. She's going to drag you down sooner or later. Jiang Sen, I'm trying to help you, to steer you back on the right path, she continued. Are you done? Jiang Sen finally showed a hint of impatience. You like me, is that it? You think you're my kind of person? He strode towards Lin Xiaxia with long steps. Do you really know me? He challenged. Just because I'm good at studies and have helped you with a couple of problems, and because I almost always help out other classmates and am favored by the teachers, you think I'm just a good student? Pressed against the wall with no way to retreat, Lin Xiaxia bit her lip, her voice trembling. Isn't that the case? Jiang Sen smirked, his long arm reaching past her ear to thump against the wall behind her, causing her to flinch. I have 276 pictures of Su Tang in my phone. Every night, I need to look at those photos to fall asleep, he confessed. The scraps of fabric from her dressmaking are under my pillow, and I don't know how many times I've kissed and caressed them. She said she likes my fingers. I've thought about making them into a specimen for her. he continued, I'm crazier than Xuan, pretending to be a good student just to not scare her off. Lin Shasha, now. Do you still dare say you like me? He asked. Lin Shasha covered her mouth, trembling with fright and tears streaming down her face. Finally, she pushed Jiangsun away and ran out. Stunned, I stood there, only to meet the gaze of the person opposite me. Have you heard enough? Jiangsun asked. I stepped back involuntarily, but Jiangsun walked right up to me. The facade of the good student was shattered. The celebrated university idol was actually a hidden madman, his fingers curled slightly, veins subtly prominent on his pale hands. Suppressing my panic, I asked, are you scared of me? Instead of feeling scared, I calmed down. I've known Jiangsun through 2 lifetimes. I know how tender and restrained he can be, how sincerely he treats me. I know this better than anyone. No. I quickly shook my head. I wouldn't be scared of you, no matter what. After a pause, I added, Jiangsun, I still like you best when you're studying, confident and dazzling. I want to be your desk mate again. Can you help me get into Tsinghua University? Jiangsun looked at me in surprise. Su Tang, a promise is a promise. Of course, I reached out and hooked my little finger with his. Lying is for puppies. And so, I moved back to my original seat, becoming Jiangsun's desk mate once again. I thought to myself, if even Lin Xiaxia, a top student, can't win Jiangsun's heart and guide him back to the right path, then it should be me, the original instigator, who should do it. Last time, I even caused him to miss the college entrance examination. This time, I want to personally watch Jiangsun get into the highest educational institution, to see him shine, succeed in his career, and live a happy and fulfilling life. If he's willing, that is, I'll stay by his side. If he ever gets tired of me, I'll take the initiative to leave. In this lifetime, it's my turn to stand by him. I began dedicating all my time to my studies and also to encouraging Jiangsun in his. Jiangsun would explain problems to me. He's sharp-witted, and even the hardest questions seemed simple with his explanations. With his help, I was able to solve several fill-in-the-blank questions on my own and even scored 63 out of 150 on a math quiz. Jiangsun bought some osmanthus candies from the north of the city to encourage me. I lay listlessly on the desk, 150 points total, and I scored 63. Despite my previous bold claims of aiming for Tsinghua University, Jiangsun didn't burst out laughing. He patted my back, comforting me. Don't rush, take it slowly. Sometimes, when I got really frustrated with problem solving or when my craving for a smoke became unbearable, I'd lose it. Jiangsun would just let me be. Are you feeling unwell? Do you want some candy to suppress it? He was always quick to notice when something was off with me. I showed my fangs, looking fierce. Candy is too sweet. I feel like biting someone instead. Jiangsun actually unzipped his jacket, rolled up his sleeve, and brought it to my mouth. Go ahead, bite. When I hesitated, he offered his other arm, or perhaps this one. You asked for it, I said as I grabbed his arm and left a bite mark on his forearm. Jiangsun didn't even flinch. I wondered if he was a wooden man, feeling no pain. Jiangsun, during class today, you looked at me more than a dozen times. You weren't focusing on your studies. Biting you is a punishment. If you don't get back to being the top student in this month's test, see how I'll deal with you. Jiangsun chuckled. Don't worry, looking at you won't stop me from getting into Tsinghua. I pouted. You'd better. As the monthly exam approached, Xuan was discharged from the hospital, after not seeing him for over half a month. He had lost a lot of weight, and a long scar stretched from his left eyebrow to the corner of his eye. The scar was deep and likely hard to completely heal, although it wasn't disfiguring. Xuan, who had always been vain about his looks, found it quite distressing. Moreover, probably because Lin Xiaxia had abandoned him during their last fight, he was much colder to her when he returned. Once, when they bumped into each other, Lin Xiaxia finally mustered the courage to say, Xuan, I'm planning to go to Tsinghua University. You fighting and getting hurt for me only seems childish and doesn't touch me. I could never like someone like you. Xuan didn't react much, merely saying, I know, before walking past her. Meanwhile, I kept pestering Jiangsun about our studies, following him even to the cafeteria to ask about problems I didn't understand from class. I wore my hair in a ponytail and a school uniform skirt that went past my knees. No more skipping classes. No more fighting, no more smoking, no more wasting my youth with Xuan and that crowd. One weekend, while Jiangsun and I were working on homework in a fast food restaurant, Xuan and his group came in to order. They seemed to have just smoked outside, the smell of mint mixed with nicotine spreading around. After being reborn, I abandoned my childhood friend and confessed to the school bully who had secretly loved me but never expressed it in my previous life. Jeongsun noticed my distress. He naturally rolled up his sleeves, revealing a section of his forearm. I didn't bring any candy. If you're feeling bad, bite me. I couldn't help but laugh and quipped, they stink to high heaven. Then I leaned closer to his neck and took a sniff. Jeongsun, you still smell nice. Jeongsun's body tensed up, and the tips of his ears turned red involuntarily. He pretended to be serious and said, focus on doing the questions. Yes, Mr. Class Monitor, Su Rue, who had just picked up his meal, happened to see this scene. He couldn't help but complain to Xuan Nanyu, how long is Su Tang going to keep acting? I don't know why, but I don't think she's acting now. It seems like she really likes Jeongsun. Xuan Nanyu's face turned ugly. He turned around and went to the door to smoke. However, the lighter didn't work after several tries. Su Rue shouted from behind, Brother Nan, aren't you going to eat? Xuan Nanyu became increasingly irritable. No. I've lost my appetite. 8. The next day after school, Xuan Nanyu unexpectedly stopped me at the school gate. He was riding a motorcycle, and the scar on his eyebrow bone added a bit of ferocity. He was as arrogant as ever. He looked at me sideways and said, you haven't taken the initiative to find me or say a word to me for so long, Su Tang. You have quite a bit of patience. I looked at him, completely confused. What the hell was he talking about? I was busy preparing for the college entrance examination. When did I have the time to pay attention to him? I was too lazy to waste words and was about to leave when I heard Xuan Nanyu sigh, as if he had let down his heavy defenses. He said in a tone of helplessness I had never heard before, fine, Su Tang, you've achieved your goal. I agree. I was even more confused. Agree to what? Don't you always want to be my girlfriend? I agree. It was rash of me to ask you to seduce Jeongsun before. I admit that when you rushed over to protect Jeongsun during the fight last time, I was extremely annoyed. From now on, you don't need to pay attention to him. The game is over. From now on, you'll be the only one who can be my girlfriend. There won't be any more Lin Xiaxia. Nor any other girls. I was speechless. Initially, I did have an ulterior motive when approaching Jeongsun. At that time, I was head over heels in love with Xuan Nanyu, willing to offer him my whole heart. He was also extremely annoyed because Lin Xiaxia liked Jeongsun, so he said to me, want to be my girlfriend? Fine, then go seduce Jeongsun. If he falls in love with you, then I'll date you. I took his words seriously and immediately became Jeongsun's deskmate, but that was in the past. Now, sorry, I'm not really interested in the position of your girlfriend anymore. Xuan Nanyu frowned. Su Tang, do you not understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about being the legitimate girlfriend. Can being your girlfriend add points to the college entrance examination, or can being your girlfriend get me recommended to Tsinghua University? He made it sound like it was some great favor. My patience ran out. Just then, Jeongsun showed up. I waved to Jeongsun and said, wait for me. Let's go home together. I was about to leave, but Xuan Nanyu grabbed my arm. He almost gritted his teeth and said, Su Tang, I've told you the game is over. Why are you still paying attention to him? Who's playing a game with you? I was completely enraged. I liked you before, so I stuck to you. Now I like him, so I stick to him. Is that so hard to understand? Xuan Nanyu, I can change my heart too. Who says I can only like you for the rest of my life? You. Xuan Nanyu's eyes were filled with disbelief. His mouth opened and closed several times, but in the end, he didn't say a word. At this moment, Jeongsun walked over. He looked at Xuan Nanyu indifferently, as if he was looking at a disgusting cockroach. Su Tang, don't stay with someone who only got 3 points in physics. It might be contagious. I quickly shook off Xuan Nanyu's hand, took out a tissue, and wiped the place Xuan Nanyu had touched with a look of disgust. I had just passed the physics exam. I couldn't afford to regress. After doing all this, I took the initiative to hold Jeongsun's hand and asked seriously, if I touch the hand of a top student more often, will I get a few more points in the exam? Jeongsun couldn't help but chuckle. Maybe. Behind us, Xuan Nanyu's arm dropped, and his eyes landed on the hands of Jeongsun and me, which were intertwined. His gaze was sharp, as if he wanted to chop us. 8. The monthly exam ended. Jeongsun regained his throne as the first in the city. I also advanced more than 100 places from the bottom 10. Everything was going as I hoped. As the college entrance examination approached, Xuan Nanyu suddenly treated me well. He was as gentle and patient with me as he had been with Lin Xiaxia. He brought me breakfast, gave me hair ties, and waited at the school gate in the evening to send me home. I ignored him every time. Then he started to target Jiangsun deliberately, even during a school basketball game. He teamed up with Su Rui to trip Jiangsun up. Even though Jiangsun had excellent skills, he couldn't withstand the two of them playing dirty together. When Jiangsun jumped up to shoot, they deliberately jumped up and crashed into him. With a loud thud, both Jiangsun and Xuan Nanyu fell heavily to the ground. I rushed onto the court, stopped the game, and ran to Jiangsun's side to help him up. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." Jiangsun's calf was injured. I lifted his arm and put it around my neck. "Lean on me, hold tight, I'll take you to the infirmary," Su Rui shouted from behind. "Hey, Su Tang, didn't you see that Brother Nan is also injured?" Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Xuan Nanyu sitting on the ground. His arm hung down in a distorted position, it seemed to be broken, and his eyes were fixed on me. I said hatefully, "Tell him to go to hell." There was an uproar in the arena. I don't know who said, "Wasn't Su Tang Xuan Nanyu's admirer?" She actually cursed him for Jiangsun. Could it be that she's with Jiangsun? Holy crap, Jiangsun is a well-known cold and aloof top student in No. 1 middle school. How could he fall for her? Come on, Su Tang is as enchanting as a fairy, who wouldn't be attracted to her? That's true. Actually, I've also dreamt about Su Tang at night, and Xuan Nanyu couldn't bear it anymore. "Shut the fuck up, all of you." We arrived at the infirmary. I squatted on the ground to check Jiangsun's wound. Fortunately, it was just a scratch. I was angry and scared. Fortunately, it's not his hand that's hurt. Fortunately, it wasn't his hand, the hand that held the pen, the hand that could change his future. Otherwise, I'd fight Xuan Nanyu to the death. Jiangsun laughed after hearing this. "What are you laughing at? You're injured and still laughing." "I'm happy." I frowned. "What's there to be happy about?" Jiangsun's eyes sparkled. "You chose me. Between me and Xuan Nanyu, you chose me." You should have seen Xuan Nanyu's expression just now. He looked as ugly as if he had swallowed 5 toads. I couldn't help but laugh too. "If you're this easy to please, you'll probably be happy for a lifetime." "What?" I stood up, leaned close to Jiangsun's ear, and said, "Because you, Jiangsun, will be my top priority for the rest of my life." Su Tang's life. Jiangsun's eyes flickered. "You're lying," I answered quickly. "If I'm lying, I'm a puppy." 9. Xuan Nanyu was hospitalized again. And I focused all my attention on Jiangsun. I watched over him like a mother animal protecting her cubs, paying close attention to every little thing around him. I made sure Su Rui and others couldn't get close. I would never allow an accident like what happened in the basketball court to happen again. As the time for the college entrance examination got closer, I made nutritious brain-boosting meals for Jiangsun every day. I also paid attention to his health, worrying that he might get too hot or too cold and get sick, which could affect his exam. Rumors spread in No. 1 middle school that Jiangsun and I were in a relationship. One day, Jiangsun was called to the dean's office for a lecture. I was nervous and didn't even eat dinner well. Half an hour later, Jiangsun came back. His pocket was bulging. He took out a sandwich and gave it to me. My stomach growled inappropriately. "I knew you'd be worried and not eat well." I took the sandwich and asked, "What did the dean want from you?" Jiangsun said, "Su Rui reported that we're in a relationship. The dean is afraid that you'll affect my studies, so he asked me not to be your desk mate anymore and to stay away from you in the future." "That snitch." I pounded the table in anger, then quickly asked, "What did you say?" Jiangsun elongated his voice and reached out to pinch my cheek. "I'm not as heartless as someone." I thought of the time when I moved to the corner at the back and felt a bit guilty. "Did the dean agree?" "He promised me that if you advance 100 places in this mock exam, he won't change our seats." "Really?" I became energetic and quickly opened my workbook. "Then I'll definitely study hard and not let down the top students' good intentions." Su Rui's report didn't drive Jiangsun and me apart. Instead, it inspired my fighting spirit. I studied even more diligently, forgetting about food and sleep. A week later, Xuan Nanyu returned to school. Last time, he maliciously crashed into Jiangsun, but luckily, Jiangsun only had a bruised calf, while he had a broken forearm. His right arm was in a cast, and he looked even thinner. Su Rui went to the school gate to pick him up and they walked back to the class together. Coincidentally, we met on the way. The three of us stopped. Su Rui was the first to speak and sneered. "Su Tang, I thought your feelings for Brother Nan were so deep and firm, but now it seems they're nothing. No wonder Brother Nan never liked you. You're not even a fraction as good as Lin Xiaxia." I smiled faintly, ignored Xuan Nanyu's gaze, and walked straight up to Su Rui, the snitch. I stared into his eyes quietly. "Su Rui, you like me, don't you?" It wasn't a rhetorical question, but a statement. Su Rui reacted strongly. He stepped back 2 steps in a hurry, as if I were some kind of virus or plague that would kill him if he got infected. What are you talking about? Oh my god, Su Tang, you're so ridiculous. How could I like you? Among Brother Nan's girlfriends, you're the one I dislike the most. Yes, I continued, your brother Nan has had so many girlfriends. Even Lin Xiaxia, who never looked at him directly. You were polite to her, but only to me. You've never had a good attitude. When I had a fight with Xuan Nanyu, you sneered at me. When Xuan Nanyu chased other girls, you came to annoy me as soon as possible. When Xuan Nanyu was a bit nicer to me, you immediately went to speak ill of me in his ear. Su Rui, your behavior is just like that of the naughtiest boy in the class who deliberately teases the girl he likes to attract her attention. You call him Brother Nan all the time, but in fact, when you see me sticking to him, you're extremely jealous, aren't you? Xuan Nanyu's face changed suddenly. He stared at Su Rui intently. Su Rui's face turned bright red. He shook his head quickly. No, I didn't, Brother Nan, believe me, how could I possibly? Xuan Nanyu stretched out his hand. Give me your phone. Su Rui tightly covered his pocket. Brother Nan, what do you want my phone for? I really didn't. Xuan Nanyu didn't waste any more words. He directly snatched Su Rui's phone and opened it. When he scrolled to the contacts page, I was his special attention. Even our WeChat, which we had added for almost 3 years but never chatted with, was his top pinned chat. Su Rui's face turned pale. He was like a thief living in the shadows, maintaining a mean and venomous image, using the most vulgar means, secretly longing for his big brother's woman. Seeing Xuan Nanyu dislike Su Tang because of his words, he felt perversely pleased. Xuan Nanyu gritted his teeth. Su Rui, you're really something. You gave me those lousy ideas before. You were deliberately trying to drive a wedge between me and Su Tang, weren't you? No wonder Su Tang was ignoring me more and more. So it was you who was up to something. The phone was smashed to pieces. Xuan Nanyu lashed out, punching Su Rui again and again. There was already Jiang Sen. And now even his own little brother was coveting her. Su Tang, why did so many people like his Su Tang? Su Rui was beaten until he couldn't get up. When he saw my mocking eyes, he somehow found the courage to punch Xuan Nanyu back. He said, tearing off the mask, yes, I do like her, but I can only think about it in my heart. Why do you have the audacity to bully her like this? The two of them immediately started fighting. What a dog-eat-dog situation. I'm so happy. But I didn't have the patience to watch any longer. I still had half a chemistry test paper left to finish. I still needed to advance 100 places in this mock exam. The fight between Xuan Nanyu and Su Rui quickly alarmed the school, and they were both given punishments. Jiang Sen asked me, how did you know Su Rui liked you? I was chewing on osmanthus candy. I didn't know, I just guessed. I propped my chin up, twirling a ballpoint pen between my fingers. He was just acting so strange. I'm so beautiful and cute, how could anyone really hate me? There must be something fishy when things are abnormal. Even if he didn't like me, I could plant a seed of doubt in Xuan Nanyu's heart. Their little clique was bound to fall apart sooner or later. Jiang Sen was defeated by me, but he also nodded in agreement. Yeah, who wouldn't like you? Our Su Tang is the most lovable. After the mock exam, I advanced 180 places as expected, exceeding the task. I managed to keep my seat next to the top student. Even the head teacher and the dean, who usually didn't think much of me, praised me unexpectedly. They even used me as a positive example to teach the bad students in the school who were just fooling around all day. Everything was going as I had planned. The day before the college entrance examination, Xuan Nanyu, who had long been expelled from school, was waiting for me at the entrance of my community. I didn't want to have too much to do with him and was going to walk around him. Xuan Nanyu seemed to see my intention and directly said, Su Tang, I'm really curious about one thing. What do you think Jiang Sen would do if I sent him the chat records of me asking you to seduce him? I turned around and stared at him intently. Xuan Nanyu put one hand in his pocket and looked at me with a self-deprecating expression. Finally, you're willing to stop and look at me properly and listen to what I have to say. I didn't say anything. I walked straight up to him and swung my arm, hitting him hard in the face. With a loud slap, Xuan Nanyu's face was turned to the side, and the corner of his mouth was broken. He grimaced in pain, but then laughed. You haven't touched me for a long time, are you crazy? I scolded. Why do you keep targeting Jiang Sen? Xuan Nanyu met my angry gaze. No reason, I just don't like him. I don't like seeing you with him, caring about him, and ignoring me. who I care about has nothing to do with you, I said, extremely speechless. Xuananyu, I'm not someone who has never loved you, but you trampled on my sincerity. Now that I've changed my heart, don't like you anymore, and don't want to revolve around you, you come chasing after me and do all these despicable things to threaten me. Is that interesting? Seeing that I was angry, Xuananyu quickly reached out to grab my hand. Su Tang, I just want to start over with you. I want you to give me a chance, but you don't even want to see me or talk to me. Do you know how suffering I am? In the past, without me even saying a word, just one look from me, you would be so distressed. I impatiently shook off his hand. Xuananyu, it's too late, I've fallen in love with Jiang Sen. Xuananyu's hand dropped. Slowly hanging down by his side and clenching tightly into a fist, jealousy flashed in his eyes. I heard from Lin Xiaxia that Jiang Sen has a mental illness. He usually acts like a normal person, but in fact, he's an emotionally unstable lunatic inside. Do you think he'll go crazy if he knows our secret? Can he still take the exam normally tomorrow? I frowned. Su Tang, let's make a deal. I'll keep this secret to myself and won't disturb him until the exam is over, and you, come back to me. I was silent, but then Jiang Sen showed up. Xuananyu sneered, I invited him here. At such an important moment, there should always be a witness, right? Su Tang, this time, I'm putting the choice in your hands. Whether to tell him or not is up to you. The only trump card he had to control me was finally revealed on the eve of the college entrance examination. Scumbag, I cursed. Su Tang, even when you curse, you look so beautiful, Xuananyu said with an infatuated look. And then he didn't forget to remind me, he's walking towards us, you don't have much time to think. The person diagonally opposite was getting closer and closer. Xuananyu impatiently tapped his watch and deliberately turned to Jiang Sen and said, Jiang Sen, Su Tang has something to tell you. Jiang Sen shifted his gaze to me. I took a deep breath. There was no way to avoid it. Jiang Sen, I said. The corners of Xuananyu's mouth curled up faintly, after going around in circles. What was his would still be his. Everything was back to the starting point. Nothing had changed. Jiang Sen, Xuananyu looked at me expectantly. Can you? His heart was screaming. Say it quickly. Be my boyfriend. Xuananyu's smile froze on his face. He suspected that he had heard wrong. Su Tang, what are you talking about? I looked at Jiang Sen seriously. Will you? No, this isn't the way the plot should develop. Xuananyu said, standing between us. Tomorrow is the college entrance examination, he reminded me. Su Tang, think carefully before you speak. I looked indifferent. So what if it's the college entrance examination? Xuananyu was shocked. You don't care. How is that possible? You've been protecting Jiang Sen like a mother hen protecting her chicks, keeping me and Su Rui away. Isn't it because you're afraid something will happen to him in the college entrance examination? What are you up to now? I slowly walked up to Jiang Sen and looked at Xuananyu like he was an idiot. Dude, don't you know there's a term called recommended admission? Xuananyu was stunned. Recommended admission? I shook my head. No wonder you only got 3 points in physics. Even if you get cured, you'll still drool. Xuananyu was so angry that his eyes turned red. He simply didn't care about anything anymore and said harshly, Jiang Sen, do you know why Su Tang became your deskmate? It was my idea. Do you know how much she liked me? I just said I hated you and asked her to seduce you, and she obediently did it. Her kindness to you was all an act. She doesn't care about you at all. You're just a part of our game. He took out his phone and showed the screenshots from that time. Look, the evidence is still in my hands. Compared to Xuananyu's excitement and sarcasm, Jiang Sen's expression was quite calm. He didn't even look at the phone and just said, I know, but so what? Xuananyu stared. You don't mind, Jiang Sen, Su Tang is so cute. Which boy in the class doesn't want to be her deskmate? But she chose me, which means I'm special to her. Xuananyu, no, don't you understand? I'm saying she was calculating you, Jiang Sen. Then why didn't she calculate you? Is it because she doesn't like you? Xuananyu, are you out of your mind? You're such a lovesick fool, Jiang Sen. Anyone would be infatuated when they meet someone like Su Tang. Oh. Jiang Sen continued expressionlessly. Some people aren't lovesick. Look. Their girlfriend ran away. Xuananyu was so angry that his face twitched. You're sick, completely incurable. Xuananyu left. Before leaving, his eyes landed on me. Su Tang, I wasn't loyal in the past. I liked many girls and hurt your heart, so this time, I'll allow you to have a little fling. When you get tired of Jiang Sen, come back to me. I'll always be waiting for you. I didn't answer. The college entrance examination passed quickly. Although Jiangsen had already received the recommended admission quota to Tsinghua University, he still took the college entrance examination and became the top scorer in science in our province. And although I studied hard, I had fallen too far behind in my studies before, and my score was only enough for an ordinary second-tier university. After Xuan Nanyu learned the news, he called me from someone else's phone, Su Tang. Long-distance relationships are the most of human nature. You and Jiangsen are destined to be in two different worlds. You didn't do well in the exam. Why don't you go abroad to study with me? Before I could answer, Jiangsen snatched the phone from me. Don't bother. Both Tsinghua University and Peking University are vying for me. The only condition for my enrollment is that I must bring my girlfriend, and they both agreed. There was a long silence on the other end, and finally, Xuan Nanyu gritted his teeth and said, "So what if you're good at studying?" Jiangsen said, "I don't know, but it's quite easy to find a girlfriend." Anyway, with a snap, the phone was thrown on the other end. In the end, I didn't go to Tsinghua University with Jiangsen. Instead, I chose to repeat my senior year of high school and was admitted to the journalism major of my dream university. I knew I wasn't cut out for the top-tier universities, so I didn't want to take up the spots that should belong to others. 6 years later, a new rising star in Beijing's scientific research field and the most beautiful meteorological anchor got married. In front of the wedding poster at the hotel entrance, a man with a scar on his right eyebrow bone took a photo with the bride in the photo. The end of the full text, Jiangsen's Diary Theater. Su Tang dyed her hair pink and shortened her school uniform skirt. Her ankles are very thin and white, with a red string bell around them. The boys in the class are all talking about her, and even the boys from the neighboring schools come to see her. It's really hard to bear. Her bleached hair breaks easily. She likes to take the broken hair and tickle others' nostrils with it, and then laugh heartily, but she never teases me. Why, do I seem boring? I really want her hair. If I pull it directly, will she feel pain? Su Tang got the last place in the exam and was scolded until she cried. I got the first place in the grade. Everyone started passing around my notes. When it reached her, she drew a big turtle on it. I liked the sound of the bell on her ankle. I wanted to keep ringing, under me. Keep ringing, the big turtle is so cute.